Welcome, welcome, welcome to Birds of a Feather. We are here once again, and man, we are so happy. You can tell there's great things have been happening. Yes, in that Philadelphia town, great things have been happening. We are now 6 games and no losses. So the Philadelphia Eagles is cutting it up, and Jalen Hurts is at the helm, and I'm Doc Hurts of Birds of a Feather, and I'm here with uh Izzy Hurts, and we see he got his new gear on and got a nice little backdrop in the back there. Look like that eagle with that football in his hand. Could you tell us something, Mr. Izzy?
Hey, it speaks for itself. That is the most one of the most famous mans with the plane. So you see, you got in the background, got the hurt, and now you're on live with you with the hurt. So you got Izzy Hurts, you got D Hurts, Emil. We're doing good. We're doing great. And only one undefeated team in the NFL is the Eagles. So today we're just super excited for what's here to follow. So you guys come on out, follow us, like us, subscribe us, comment because it's just going forward right now, everybody. So come on in. We're excited for some more football. And next week, Philadelphia Eagles, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay, so how do you think? I mean, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Pittsburgh just lost their last game this Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, and man, they're not doing too well. And I know that the Eagles are highly favored, and they're also playing at home. So there's a great possibility, we believe, that they're going to wind up 7-0 by the end of this Sunday.
Definitely, that's the goal. That's the plan. So Steelers lost to Miami. Um, I think it was a low scoring game. I think about 16 to 10. And their young rookie quarterback has some struggles, but let's just keep it. Let's keep it going. Let's not take them for granted. You will be at home. You got home field advantage. You're the better team, and be cautious because the betting odds are big that the Eagles are going to win this game. So let's go out there and do it. Let's do it in person, not worry about what's on paper. So let's be prepared. We had a whole week of resting up, and Damon's been getting more and more shine and publicity and commercials. So let's get back to work this Sunday. I've seen new commercials of him, and it's going and growing. And if you guys are noticing or not, you see that it's going and growing, and people are still talking about him for the MVP candidate. So my whole take on it is, hey, it's a new season. It looks like, and a lot of people are getting behind it. So they're getting behind Jalen Hurts, in my opinion. So just take it one game at a time, like the jersey number one. What's your take on it?
Well, hey, I think it's great things ahead. And what I like for those that do who tune in to subscribe to us, like us on Facebook so we can get it out there, share if you can, and so that more people can hear us and so that the station should surely grow. But we coming in with a after each week, we come in and we do a show, and then right before the game, we're going to do another show, and so we'll be tapping back in after. I believe it's going to have the Monday night game and then the Thursday night game. So we're going to keep you abreast of what's going on, and I'm just excited of what's happening with the Philadelphia Eagles, and I believe they're in a place to where they are the only team left that who can make NFL history. That if they keep this one game at a time and keep focused and stay healthy, there's a good possibility that they could go set a record to be 20-0, to have the next perfect season, and it would be something for the history books.
I agree with that sentiment. That is something that needs to be pushed because let's not bypass history. If it didn't matter, the 72 Dolphins, if I'm not mistaken, out of all the ones that are alive, they still celebrate every time a team loses. So there is certain sacred records in sport that's important. And trust me, if the 72 Dolphins, if every time somebody loses, they celebrate, You're working towards history, so keep it one game at a time. Go for the record books. I think that's what you're there to do as a professional anyway. You're there to create a legacy, create a history for life. So it means one game at a time, every game till the season's over. I got no problem with that. What's your take on it?
Well, that record has held for over 50 years, almost 50 years. And what I feel like if they was to go 20-0, that's 3 games further than the Dolphins did, and they would be in such a place that record could stand for years on end. It would be such a great accomplishment, and especially for a quarterback of Jalen. This would basically be his second full year as a starter. That would be astounding. That you'd have a guy come in, be quarterback with only 2 years up under his belt, and break that record that's lasted for 50 years. Man, that would be something to be in the history books like never before in football. And I think that's something that I believe that they can accomplish it if they focus one game at a time. His last year, they had a real good record of winning away games, and that was very unusual for a quarterback or a young team to win as many away games as they did. Matter of fact, they were better away than they were at home. So now that they've got it rolling at home and they're getting better and better, man, it would be awesome. So that's what I love to
Yeah,
see.
definitely, definitely. So I agree with that. Is there any other takes that you feel after this last week of football has any concern on the Eagles and Jalen Hurts?
Believe it or not, I've seen so many teams that have been playing, and even though you have some of the teams are 5-1 or some are 5-2, they don't show the consistency. I know we've had some problems with, how would you say, the second, the third, and the fourth quarters, the first quarters. We've had some problems, but there's no team that I see that's been more consistent than they have, especially with the type of players that they got. They haven't suffered a lot of serious injury with key players that were lasting. And if they could keep that up and keep focused one game at a time, they could really pull this off.
Agreed, agreed. That's also very important. Consistent winning, the injuries, and also what I want to speak on because since we're speaking about Hurts business, let's keep the focus at task. There's no disrespect about it, but the Philadelphia Phillies are going in the World Series, and there's a lot of people excited. The NBA basketball season just started, and if you follow Jalen Hurts, Jalen was at the pregame and he's rooting on the 76ers. There's a lot of distractions. Everyone that's on the Eagles, you've got to keep your focus. We know there's other sports going on, and there's other entities. So what I would say to the Eagle Nation is keep level, keep focused. You had a week off of football. Let's get back to playing football. That's what needs to be the key. And also as well as coaching. There's a lot of coaches that are out there. They've had a week off. You guys got to tighten your game back up as well. Even though you're winning, you need to prove that your coaching style and your coaching plays is going to get you over the hump because there's certain calls and plays that can cost you a game. And we don't want to see that happen. But that's the sentiment that we're hearing from a lot of fans is that we're concerned about the special teams and we're also concerned about some of the play calls. So what's your take on that?
Well, I think there's a lot to be said for the coaching, but where they're at, winning like they can't be satisfied with, hey, we won the game. As they clean up the little errors, that just like when they were doing the RPOs last year, there was a lot of penalties. Now you see them running RPOs and they hardly ever get a penalty, and it's paying off. So many of the areas where they were weak, once they strengthen them, you see they're just taking off. And I believe it's the spirit that's the in the house. I believe it's the spirit of the team. I seen them having fun. I seen them. A lot of those guys are young, and they're focused, and they're mature beyond. Well, Jalen for sure is mature beyond his years, and I think it allows younger players to get more serious. If you had guys that everybody just fun and games, I think it would permeate. And since he has a lot of seriousness plus the youth, uh, he's bringing a lot of integrity and fun back to the game. I mean, you see Kelsey playing like he's a young guy. He's getting in there. He's got something to say after every game. He's almost an old veteran, almost out the door. But I believe those young guys rejuvenated him. And I think with their wisdom, like Fletcher Cox, you can't tell he's an older guy. He's hanging right in there with them younger guys. So it's a really good mix. I think it's necessary. And also at the end of the year, football is the biggest draw all year. It's been that way for ever since I've been a young man. I'll say 60 something years that I can remember. Football was the biggest draw on television as the Super Bowl, and it still is. So we know that marquee. I don't care how many world championships the football, the baseball has, or the basketball. There's no bigger draw than the Super Bowl, and that's the way it's been, and it's going to continue. And I believe it's going to be the right spotlight. And if they could possibly even just going in there with the possibility to win the the game. I mean, if they take it one day at a time, one game at a time, and I'll just go into a little bit of the to break it down and show you how it could possibly happen, right? Towards the end of the year, if they continue to win consistently, once they get around the Dallas Cowboys, I think it's game 16. It's the last game it's the first to the last game. They can pretty much breeze through those. At that end of the year, they may want to say, well, look, we're not going to play as hard because we don't get nobody hurt, right? And it's not going to matter probably if they lose because they probably be so far ahead. So the next game, the 17th game, will be the same. But if they decided, no, we're going to consistently play, we're going to beat Dallas, we're going to do what we need and beat Dallas, we're going to do what we can and we beat this next team, being the first seed and having that 17 complete season, they're not going to play the number 2 seed. They're not going to play the number 3 seed. They're going to play the number 4 seed with a bye week. If they play the 4th seed who comes through in the bye week, they're going to play in the championship game, right? If they play in the championship game, that may be the hardest game that they'll face. If they are able to beat whatever team that is, they only got one more game to win. And so they really looking at maybe a possibility if they get through the season to have maybe 2 hard games to win. They'll play a number 3 and number 4, possibly, but they'll play a number. They'll play a number. Is it number 4? One of them they're not going to play a number. They're not going to play number 2. They're going to play somebody down the line who came through a wild card maybe, but they'll get the bye week and they'll be at home. If they with a perfect record, they'll be at home for the remaining of the season. So they'll only go away if they go to the Super Bowl. So if everything is kind of working out right, it could almost give them an advantage. And it would give them an advantage toward the end of the year if they stay consistent and not try to slack off on a game, which could cause them to lose. And you know how momentum is. When you get a losing spirit somewhere, it's like wildfire. So that's my thought on that.
Definitely, definitely. I agree with you. There was a song, this has nothing to do with that. But there's a song by Nelly. It's called Number One. And in the song, he says, "I am number one." And he asks a question. He says, "What does it take to be number one?" So it's not a coincidence when you got number one. What does it take? It takes the skills. It takes the discipline, the hard work, the effort, and the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. You got it. So let's keep it going. Let's do what it takes to be number one. Now that you're number one, so let's just keep it going. Let's block out the noise, the distractions. Let's just keep it going. And I guess I also just want to give Shout out to all of the subscribers out there with the Eagles, because they're still keeping the information going. So hopefully, I guess a lot of people want to see a trade happen for a defensive end. I wouldn't mind, wouldn't cause me a problem at all. It is trade season, so if you see another piece of a player you want, um, in my opinion, I would go for it. What is your take on that?
Okay, I'm just wondering when is the trade deadline? I think it's pretty close, isn't it?
I have no clue. It's probably about another week or two, if that. But there's been some trades over the last 4 days, so um, let's just see what's happening.
Well,
Trade deadline isn't that long.
I think what they're going to be focusing, well, they need probably some players on special teams, punt returns, and probably defensive end. But I think what they will look for if they do go for a trade, they're going to look for uh, the person who can come in and mesh with the team personality wise more than just a talent. I don't think they're going to bring in somebody who could come in and disrupt what they got going. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to look for that person who's going to, who got that fit that buys into their system. I think they're going to try. If they choose somebody, if they don't have that, I don't think they're going to get them. Even I think they'll bypass talent just to get that cohesiveness, with the teammates.
Definitely, definitely. So, if you don't got a problem, don't bring a problem. That's my only
Right.
moniker for that. So,
Yeah.
if you got to think about it, leave it alone. But if there's a player that you definitely see could fit, give it a try. But like you're saying, hey, if you don't got a problem, don't go looking for one.
Right. So we're looking forward to the game coming up uh this Sunday, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen with Pittsburgh. But like I say, on any given Sunday, so come out, be
Yeah,
ready, play hard, and let's keep seeing what we're gonna do as we go further.
wonderful.
So I'm excited
Definitely.
and delighted. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited as well. Hey guys, if you're out there, feel free to comment, like, share, subscribe. Izzy Hurts, D Hurts as well. I'm here.
Oh yeah. Keep doing it up.
Numero uno. What
Hold on.
does it take to be number one?
We're gonna have to check out old Philly 500 and let make sure he know he's Chris Farley.
Well, yeah, we need to remind him of himself because he seems to be. I guess someone's told him he said he looks like Denzel Washington. We hate to burst your bubble, buddy, but I don't think so.
Yeah. So with that being said, we're gonna see you later. Birds of a feather. Subscribe, like, share. We're gonna stick together.